All right, morning, guys. So today is December the 4th. This is Wednesday. Let's see what the market's going to go ahead and give us for today. Overall, we did have ADP numbers come out here this morning, right? We saw that those numbers came out pretty good, giving us that market push to the upside here, giving us a pre-market high of 606.20s. So that is going to be an area that we are going to be going to be looking at to see if SPY is going to go ahead and continue up more higher here for today, right? So why do we say that 606.20s? Because that is pre-market high, and if we do break pre-market high, we will continue to see more upside. Why? Because we will start to see more buyers starting to push this more higher into more all-time high, right? Overall, earlier this week on Monday, I did mention there was a possibility that we would see these at 605s possibly if we were continue this uptrend here on the markets, especially in SPY. But overall right now, what can we see on SPY right now? We can see right now overall seems like SPY is having sort of a little issue here, just having some profit takers coming in and taking profits, right? We did have a nice little gap up here for a pre-market here and continuing in that uptrend, right? We are seeing that we are staying intact with VWAP. So that being said, what we are going to be looking for right now, as right now based off this 5-minute chart, we are looking to see, are we going to go ahead and break our pre-market low of 605.51? So roughly around that 605.50 area is an area where we're going to be looking at to see if we're going to go ahead and break here to go see more lower to the downside, right? Why do we say this area? Because look at your pre-market levels here. Let's see all these candles going up and down. We're sort of staying right in between that area, right? That's one thing we want to consider. Going into the 1 minute time frame. I know a lot of you guys like to use that 1 minute time frame. What can we see on the 1 minute? Now we are below 5 EMA, 20 EMA, VWAP, and our 5 EMA, right? Blue line is my 5 EMA, this purple line is my 20 EMA and VWAP. Right now, currently having a fight right here to see if we're going to go ahead and break below this 200 EMA, or we're going to go ahead and try to sort of bounce right around this 200 EMA, right? This green line is going to be that 200 EMA, as you can see. Sort of having a little bit of confluence around this area, right? So that's an area we want to go ahead and watch here on SPY. Why do we say that? Because if we can get back above our 5 EMA and sort of get back above VWAP as well, there's a possibility that we will start to see buyers starting to come back in on this for SPY. So just keep an eye out on that. Have your alert set for that 605 area to see if we will break below that, right? So let's go ahead and set that alert here, 605.50s. Break below that, we will get an alert here on SPY, right? So if we do break below that 605.50 area, ideally you would want to be looking at for a quick little scalp on possibly some 605 puts to the downside. Because being mindful of also the gap up that we had, right? That's one thing that we want to be considerate about as well. Don't mind this long wick here, because that's just going to be that market liquidity injection, right? Most of the time you will see these long wicks right around that 8 o'clock, 8:05 time frame, because you have that market liquidity being injected in, right? So those areas are where we're going to be looking at for SPY, that 605s and 606. That those two areas are what we're going to be looking at for either direction, either up or down. Now, let's go ahead and look at what Tesla's doing for overall this market. Overall, what can we see? This 5-minute chart, we are having a nice little push to the downside, right? You can see here as well. Tesla pre-market gap up, right? That pre-market gap up has now been filled with the market open session. The market New York session opened up, gave us that nice little flush to the downside. And now, what are we seeing? We are seeing that Tesla right now, based off the 5-minute time frame, What are we seeing? We are seeing that we are basically bouncing right around yesterday's areas, right? Yesterday's low. Roughly these 348 is what we are seeing is trying to hold here as support, right? What is our pre-market, or not our pre-market, our intraday low as of right now? Our intraday low on Tesla right now is 348.60s. 348.60s. What was yesterday's low? Roughly these 348.20s, right? So we can see that these 348 on Tesla is sort of trying to hold as support here going into today. So that is an area that we will be looking for on Tesla to see if we can break below that 348. So let's go ahead and look at our 1 hour time frame, right? Let's go ahead and delete this drawing here. What can we see on our 1 hour time frame as well? We can see that 348 is indeed an area of support trying to hold up here, right? You can see here, that's pre-market, boom. Yesterday's low, holding nicely here, right? So that's an area where we want to see if we're going to break below that 348 or we're going to continue higher, right? Let's go back into our 5 minute. Matter of fact, we're going to go into our 1 minute time frame for our 1 minute traders. What are we seeing on the 1 minute time frame? Nice little reversal here. We hit that 348 here. Now, what are we seeing? We're seeing our candles trying to get back above VWAP, right? Yes, we are above our 5 EMA here based off this 1 minute time frame. So ideally what we want to see on Tesla for us to continue more higher is to see is Tesla on this 1 minute time frame going to regain back that VWAP and also get back above this 20 EMA. Why am I saying those two more indicators? Because ideally for me, if I can have 3 indications of confirmation to either up or down, we're getting this possibility that this will go in either way, right? So here we're looking for a move to the upside. We are above the 5 EMA. Once we get back above the VWAP and 20 EMA, that's going to be 3 confirmations, 3 indicators that there's a possibility that we will see more upside here on Tesla, right? What area we are looking for to sort of break above is going to be roughly these 351.50s. You can see here. This is why I'm saying that 351.50s area is where I'm going to be looking at to possibly get into some calls based off this move to the upside, right? Let's look at the 5 minute. Look at the 5 minute here. You can see now, what are we doing? We're basically regaining back this pre-market, not pre-market, sorry, the New York session opening bell drop here, right? So, as I mentioned on that 1 minute, look at here. We are already trying to regain back VWAP, right? Now we're looking to see, are we going to go ahead and regain back that 5 EMA on Tesla here? So that's one thing that we want to be considerate about here. Because as we all know, Tesla moves quick, options move very quick and are very volatile based off how the price action goes for Tesla. So that is an area that we want to go ahead and be watching for here on Tesla, right? And why do I say that 351.50s? Because look a little bit over here are after hours on Tesla. We can see a little consolidation there. So this consolidation here is now acting as a resistance point to continue to see more upside here on Tesla, right? That's why I'm saying that 351.50s is going to be an area that I'm going to be looking at for us to break above in order to see Tesla continue higher, in order to continue to regain this New York session drop, right? So that those 2 areas is the 2 areas that I'm looking for right here in the New York session for Tesla. Because we do have more news, more data coming out here roughly at Wednesday. So Wednesday, right now we did just have
9:45, Goofy. We have it 9:45.
yeah, so we literally 2 minutes ago we just had that PMI, right? And then also we do have ISM service and factory orders coming out at 10 a.m. So that's going to be roughly in 13 minutes. So once we have all these numbers and data already in, that's going to give us a little bit more of sense of direction in the market, right? As of right now, what are we seeing? We're seeing that the market is overall having a nice little um, confluence of trying to decide which direction it wants to go, right? Overall, Tesla right now, we can see it wants to regain back up, but also sellers are trying to keep the buyers from pushing this up more higher, right? Let's go ahead and look at Nvidia. So like I said, guys, those two levels on Tesla is the area that we're going to be looking at for is that 351.50s and roughly those 348s. So set Nvidia here now. Let's look at what the daily. So yesterday daily we did close green, and so this is something that I have drawn up yesterday, right? You can see Nvidia has been on a nice little uptrend here and staying intact of that uptrend, right? So that being said, also that 340, that not 3, that 152 roughly 90 area is sort of acting as a resistance point on Nvidia, right? And what can we see based on what I have drawn up here on Nvidia's data is that we can sort of see here an ascending triangle trying to be made, right? So if Nvidia can continue this uptrend here and sort of give us this momentum more to the upside, I'm expecting for Nvidia to sort of break out of this ascending triangle that we have here in the upcoming days, maybe upcoming weeks, right? Let's go into our 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. What is our 1 hour time frame telling us? Nice little uptrend, maintaining our 20 EMA here, staying uptrend.
Hey, just a quick one. Okay, we all are listening. So if you have a background noise, please mute your mic out of respect to everybody. All right. Or otherwise, we do have to server mute you from our side.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. We do have other people trying to learn here. We are on Eastern time zone, guys. I am in Maryland, so that being said, here on Nvidia, what are we seeing? We are seeing Nvidia here sort of attempting here to sort of have a nice little flush here, right? Yes, we are still above our 200 EMA, but overall, for me on a 5 minute basis time frame, I am in a bearish state thesis. Why? Because we are below 3 indicators for me, which is going to be that VWAP, that 5 EMA, and the 20 EMA, right? So for me, as of right now, with those 3 indicators and these candles being below those 3 indicators, for me, I am in a bearish thesis for Nvidia for today as of right now, guys. Because anything can happen from here all the way up to 4 p.m. But overall, we are watching to see what Nvidia is going to do. And what are we seeing here based off the 5 minute time frame? We can see that Nvidia right now attempting to hold these 140s, right? We can see here. Right? We can see that we're sort of trying to hold these 140s here, right? You can see over here, currently right now, trying to sort of bounce off these 140s, not trying to give up that 140s, right? So we know that this 140 area is going to try to act as a support here on Nvidia. And we can see why, because here we can see some consolidation, right? So it's with that consolidation, we know that there was right here just confluence on trying to give this area up. So we're going to be using that area of roughly those 140s as a support here for today. Because if we do end up giving up that 140s, then we know that there's going to be a chance for us to continue to go more lower, roughly right around into these 139s, right? But now, what can we see? See, now we're seeing that Nvidia is sort of attempting to give us that break up, right? So, for my 1 minute traders, what are we starting to sort of see here, right? We are sort of seeing that Nvidia may be wanting to curl back up, right? We can clearly see it. Despite this having a drop, what can we see? The drop wasn't fully all the way down, right? It was slowly curving here, right? So just keep in mind an eye on it and on these candles. This is why it's important for you as a trader to know how to read the candles and the price action, because that will give you a sense of direction and sort of give you a sense of, okay, what is the possibility of what this market price action for this stock may be doing here, no matter what the time frame, right? But if you are a 1 minute time frame trader, this is what I'm showing. What this is what I am seeing as of right now, based off on this 1 minute. So that's one thing that I want to see is this gonna continue to curl up and give us that nice little push up, or is this just gonna be a nice little stair step way all the way down, right? You can see got this high here on the market open, then we flushed, right? Not really a flush, but we sold off, then boom, attempting to go back up, boom, 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 right? So sort of a stair stepping formation, right? You can see. So will this be that, or are we gonna start to see it start to curl back up, right? So remember, there's always two sides of the market. You might be seeing the market in a bullish state of mind, but others may be seeing it in a bearish state of mind, right? This is how the market works. It wouldn't be the market if everyone thought the same way. Even between me and maybe other alpha traders in the Discord, whether we're trading futures or forex, right? Someone might be long where I might be thinking, hey, the market looks short to me. Let me go ahead and take a short, right? That's how the market works. It wouldn't be the market if it wasn't like if everyone thought the same, right? So that's what I'm looking
Goofy,
for.
let me just add a little bit here.
Go
Let me
ahead,
just
brother.
add a little bit here. Yeah, like you guys see me a lot of times on the penny stocks I short, right? My bias is entirely what? Most of the people, most of us here have the perspective that you buy low, sell high, right? That's the typical way we trade. But if you notice, with penny stocks, the two times that I trade, either in the early morning or just after market closes, right at 4 p.m. Eastern, I do a lot of shorts and I make hopefully a decent amount of money, right? At least decent to me. So, exactly what Goofy has said, that your perspective should be entirely based on the chart. Okay, I completely second that. If it is telling me that my conviction, my perspective is more towards the short, I will take that trade. If my perspective is telling me, like, yep, it is going to go higher, I will take a long. All right. Like, just for example, if you notice, like, go to my channel and notice a trade I took in HRTX last night, I had a very, very high conviction that this thing is gonna go down. And if you follow my trades, you know very well that I don't hold things usually overnight, but I held it overnight. I gave the price targets. If you look now, almost to the point, those price targets are reached. Very similarly, with SRM, the perspective is different. The chart tells you, like, yep, this thing has legs. Let's go on it. I gave you guys the level, at what levels to get in at open. I went in at 130 myself. All right, and I'm taking profits now. So this is exactly how you trade. Like, before you go, one thing that I will again remind you guys that Goofy always keeps on saying, before going on a trade, always have a plan. If you don't have a plan, don't trade.
Correct. That is correct, guys. And this is what I wasn't picking on someone in options last night where he was asking for levels on AMD, right? I asked him, what is your reason for you trying to take this trade long, right? Do you have a reason why you want to take it and all of that? Because with each trade that you take, guys, you want to have a reason behind that trade. You don't want to just go ahead, put on a trade and be like, hey, oh, I think this is going up or I think this is going down. No, because that is not how the way it works. Because then at the end of the day, whether that trade is a win or a loss, if it's lost, you're like, man, why did I take this trade? And if it's a win, you might be thinking to yourself, was I lucky on this trade?
Baby. No, baby, you never say that.
Alright, so that being said, let's go ahead and switch over here now. So let's go ahead and someone was asking for Plantier, if I'm correct here. So yeah, so someone was asking for Plantier before the class started. So let's go ahead and review Plantier for the time being, right? So overall, Plantier just has been on a bullish upside move, right? Look at this. Just a strong bullish move to the upside here on Plantier overall. Since, let's see here, since basically the beginning of last month, right? As we can see here, basically since the 5th of last month has just been on a tear to the upside here, guys. And what is one thing that we like to say as a trader is that whenever we see something go up, it must come down, right? So that being said, with Plantier just having this nice big run up to the upside and just continuing up higher, at some point Plantier is gonna have to give up. It's gonna have to have that nice healthy pullback as we all know. And what can we see here? That Plantier down here does have a gap down, right? And I was just talking about gaps earlier this week on Monday. No matter if we have a gap up on a day, doesn't mean that that gap will be filled the same day, guys. That's one thing that you guys want to be considerate about. Those gaps may take days, may take weeks, may take even months to fill, as we can see here on Plantier, right? It's been over a month that this gap has not been filled. And that is because over the time since this gap up, Plantier just continues to bring out good news, where that good news just continues to move Plantier up a little bit more higher, right? So we all know that at some point Plantier will have to sort of give that healthy pullback, right? Let's go ahead and go into our 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame, what can we see? We are seeing a nice little round top here, right? That round top, as you guys may know, that round, I just got an alert here for SPY breaking below that 605.48 level that we had mentioned earlier. So now with the, and that might be because that 10 a.m. news may have just came out right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to tell you. All right, that don't bank on it. Just
So
give it 4 or 5 minutes to settle down.
exactly, and this is why we tell you guys a lot of times that you do not want to be in a trade when there is news or data coming out, because most of the time it might be shooting up or it might be shooting back down, right? And that when you're in the trade during that news coming out, whether it's options or whatever you might be having, swings or whatever, that might affect how you're trading on, whether it's day trading, etc., right? So that will sort of give you an effect. And I know some of you guys still having a hard time trying to control your emotions, and that's one thing that we want to teach you guys, is that you guys have to be emotionless when you guys are trading, guys. Take your trade without thinking. Take it based on the facts that you have written down in your journal, your notepad, whatever it may be. But here on Plantier, what are we seeing? We're seeing that round top playing out here on this 1 hour time frame, sort of trying to basically give back yesterday's big run up, right? Let's go ahead into our 5-minute time frame. 5-minute time frame. Look at that nice, beautiful sell off here, right? Just continuing more lower. So, looking at the 5-minute time frame here, what is an area that I'm going to be looking at for us to sort of either bounce or give up? Is going to be right around here, that 68.30s. As why? Because over here, that was our intraday low for Plantier for yesterday's session. right around here, right? We can see that roughly this 68.35s was a nice little area where we bounced up, had some consolidation, broke out of that, continue more higher, right? So that's an area where I'm going to be looking at for Plantier to sort of see, are we going to go ahead and bounce off of that area? Or is that area going to give out to continue to go more downside? Because if that 68 roughly 30s gives out, we know that we might be looking to go see more downside and going down more into the 65 area. So we're going to go ahead, set an alert right here for a price drop below that 68.30. So that's what I'm looking at for Plantier right now. And as mentioned, if you're looking to get into Plantier long wise, me personally, I would wait for a nice little healthy pullback, right? But you can play calls to the upside or even puts, but I would just be day trading those options, whether it's a call or put, just because of the fact that Plantier has just been on a tear to the upside, guys. Another thing to consider here for today on the 5-minute time frame, we can see RSI. We have now basically, with this sell-off here from the New York session open, that the RSI is well below our 30 RSI, right? What is that telling us? That is telling us that now we are way oversold. So at some point we might be seeing buyers starting to come back in and sort of get this push momentum to the upside. But doesn't necessarily mean that we will see buyers coming in. Sellers can still push this here lower, as we are seeing here, guys. But overall, just in a bearish thesis. Look at this 1 minute time frame. 1 minute time frame. Now, if you were trading Plantier at the New York session open, where would have been your entry for a put? Let me go ahead and show you guys. So right around here, right there, right around here would have been an area where you would have been looking at to see, okay, where would it be my entry for a puts, being that the New York session open has given us this nice little sell off here, right? So as you can see here, we sold off here. Then what do we create here? We sort of create a nice little rising wedge, right? And this is another reason why it's important to know your patterns as well. Because if you can spot patterns in the market just by you spotting these patterns, or even your price action, your mind will automatically click and tell you, okay, I am seeing this, let me go ahead and try this put to the downside or call to the upside based on my patterns, right? Me personally, I have a journal, I have a little binder with patterns next to me when I'm trading, because there's so many patterns that sometimes they may be giving in your head, right? So this being said, look at this. Right around here, right here, and we start to break below that area, and where we started to see that we were staying well below that VWAP, that would have been my entry. Why? Because we are below that 20 EMA and below VWAP, right? And we're starting to see us just starting to break below that 5 EMA as well. And what is one thing that I say? If I have 3 confirmations with my indicators, then I'm going with that indicators move to either move to the downside or upside, as we can see here. And what happened here? If I would have got in, even if I didn't get in on the break below of VWAP, I can still get in on an entry right around over here, which is telling me on a full body candle close below my 5 EMA is where I would have taken an entry, right? So here or over here, because we are breaking below my indicators. And for me, I like to tell you guys, if I can see a full body candle close below an indication, then that's a go for me. So here, and rolled it all the way down, been nice little profits, right? May have not been over 100%, but 10, 15, 20% is a win for anyone, guys. And now what are we seeing here? We're seeing that Plantier is holding at 68 and now attempting to sort of regain back above. Look at the 5 minute. 5 minute candle. We want to see this close. If this 5 minute candle close is a lot more bigger than the previous candle here, we know that the buyers are stepping in, right? So that's one thing that you want to keep an eye out here on Plantier for this day here. Alright, so that being said, let's see anything else here. So I'm going to go ahead and review AMD just because of the fact that someone was asking about it yesterday, right? And I hope you did watch that video that I posted up from Monday's class to sort of give you an indication on what my thesis was for AMD. And overall, we can see here, right? We can see this downtrend line that I have drawn up. Despite yesterday closing red, we closed above that downtrend, right? Which was something that I was looking for on AMD, right? You can see that, and even with today selling off, we are still above that downtrend. And one thing that I was looking for us to see is to see if we were going to be trading back above this 140s, right? That's one thing that I am looking at here. So let's go into our 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. What does the 1 hour time frame tell me? What can we see here on this 1 hour time frame with today? We can see here, boom, and boom. So sort of a double top here for this AMD pre-market sessions, right? Right around here, we got a rejection right around that 144. And over here today, we had sort of a rejection of that 144. It's not to the point of it, but pre-market high was 143.95, right? So we know that this 144 area on AMD is sort of acting as a resistance point here, having trouble breaking above that 144 area. And with that being said, sort of trying to create a double top, right? So with that being said as well, sort of getting this nice little sell-off here, right? Going to our 5 minute time frame, what can we see? Consolidation throughout all of pre-market, and boom, once we opened up, had a nice sell-off. But even before market opened up, we started to break below this consolidation area, as we can see there, right? Let's go ahead and draw this up. So you can see here, that was an ugly line. So that consolidation area, once we broke below that, boom, that sort of gave you an idea that, okay, AMD for today might be in a bearish state, right? And we can see here, once we open up, boom, just continue and sell, and then here, boom, boom, right? So with that being said, now we are seeing that AMD is now hitting a low of 141.20s. Let's go ahead and see why that 141 area, right? What can we see here based off this 30-minute time frame? That 141. Look at yesterday's low. Yesterday's low, 141.97, right? So we know that roughly these 141s, 142s, sort of trying to act as a support area here on AMD, right? Remember, guys, one thing that I like to tell students is that or even those that have had one-on-ones with me, what do I tell you guys? Use your previous day highs and lows going into the next day. Why? Because those areas will sort of give you a sense of direction of what the next day might be doing for that stock. Because if we do break below, let's say yesterday's low, we know that we might be in for more downside. If we break below or break above yesterday's high, we know that we might be breaking up a little bit more higher, right? Or even if we don't break below either of those levels, we're just going to be chopping around in between the range, right? So that's one thing that be considerate about. And if you don't use it yet, maybe give that a shot going into your trading, see if that helps you out going forward, right? So here on AMD, we know that this 141 area sort of acting as a support here, right? What's our low day for today? 141.20s. So now we are watching to see what AMD is going to do. Overall, price action isn't the best here for today. But if we look at the 1 minute time frame, we can see buyers sort of attempting to take over, but then again, what are we seeing on the 1 minute time frame? See here? That's one thing that I'm watching here on AMD, because if we cannot break above this area here, what is another thing that I'm seeing over here? And this is on 1 minute time frame, right? So see that? You see how now we're getting that rejection from that area. Alright? See how knowing patterns, and these patterns can be found whether you're trading on a 1 minute, 5 minute. If you see some sort of pattern, it might be playing out in your favor for that day or for that moment, as we are seeing here, right? Right here we're seeing that this is an area where we are sort of having trouble breaking back above, right? So this area right here is going to be roughly that's 142s, right? That 142s right now is sort of acting as a resistance point on this 1 minute time frame, right? You can see consolidation here being made, but also buyers trying to sort of continue to push this up. But here we're seeing that the sellers are saying, no, you are not going to go ahead and push this back up higher on me, right? So you see that? You guys are seeing this, right? This is why it's important for those 1 minute traders. Don't just take trades blindly because you see, oh, big green candles, I'm seeing the momentum going up, and just go ahead and take it, right? Don't just go ahead and take trades blindly. Have a conviction, have a reason why you are taking trades here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, whatever time frame you're trading. You want to have a plan, you want to have your reason behind that trade, right? Because as of right now here, just based off that 1 minute time frame and me seeing this, and if I would have taken this from that 141 all the way down here on a put, I would have made myself a quick easy 10-15% on an option put. And doesn't necessarily mean that just because we're trading right around these 141s, I could have easily taken a 141 or even a 142 put and made myself a good 10-15% on that put, based off of what I am seeing on a 1 minute time frame. So I hope that this gives you guys a little bit of understanding on what you guys sort of need to be looking for, no matter what it's patterns or price action. But you guys have to know how to read the candles, price action, know patterns, and all of this, because if you guys aren't studying on that and you guys are just coming into the market and trying to trade blindly, believe me, you will end up losing your money. So now what are we seeing here on the AMD? right? Now, boom, sort of having, or sort of trying to have a nice little double bottom, right? You can see here. What was the low for right now on that? 141.25, and over here 141.20. So boom, that right there, 2 trades in 1 minute would have easily given you some money. Quick, like we say, compound those gains. 10, 5%. Compound those gains, guys, because end of the day, compounding is what will make you money in the market, right? No matter if it's small gains, big gains, whatever it may be, you are looking for to compound your capital. So I hope that gives you 1 minute traders a little bit of sense on how quick and on how on top of you have to be on your trading based on your 1 minute, because I see a lot of you guys trading on the 1 minute time frame, but yet you are looking for a take profit based off a longer time frame. It doesn't work out like that. If you're trading on a longer time frame, you're going to be trading on the longer time frame bias. If you're trading the 1 minute but you're looking to take a profit based off a longer time frame, that may not always turn out in your favor, guys and gals. That's something that you guys want to be doing, because if you're a 1 minute scalper, just based off here and just by what I have been here sort of talking to you about, you could have had yourself 2 trades quick in and out and just compounded a little bit more onto your capital, right? So one over here, then over here, if you know what you are looking for, right? This is why it's important for you guys to know your patterns and knowing how to read price action. Okay, so SoFi and SPY. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and review those two, and then we're gonna go ahead and end this, right? So let's go ahead over SoFi. SoFi. Okay, what are we seeing on SoFi here? We're seeing that SoFi based off this 1 hour, not another 1 hour. On the daily time frame, what can we see? Same thing with SoFi. Has just been on a run up, right? Just been on a nice run up since basically 2 months ago, right? Since the 10th second 24, right? So just a nice run up. So basically from here, roughly the 757's almost doubled price on SoFi, right? And what are we seeing? We're seeing how these candles are riding that 5 EMA, right? Riding that 5 EMA, staying above this 20 EMA, staying above the 200 EMA, right? But what is one thing that we just said based off plans here? What goes up must come down at some point, right? So with SoFi, ideally, I would love to see SoFi sort of give us a nice little healthy pullback back into this range right around here. Why do I say that? Because this is an area where we sort of saw consolidation price action just going up and down between roughly these 1430s and roughly these 13s. So right around that area is where we sort of had that confluence of consolidation just going boom boom, and then we sort of broke out boom here. But here, what's another thing that we are seeing? So for right now, sort of attempting to break out of this area here, which might be to some, it might be looking like an ascending triangle. And yes, it might be, right? So that blue line, let me go ahead and see why is it that I have that blue line drawn up. Okay, so that blue line is based off of my weekly time frame here. That weekly time frame, so that blue line is going to be my weekly resistance points roughly right around that 1647. That 1650s area is going to be that weekly resistance points for me on SoFi. So whenever you see stuff like this, you can see here, yes, we did break above that 1650s, but we failed to continue that move to the upside, right? So we know that roughly around that 1650s, 60s area is going to be a nice little resistance points that we are going to be looking at for us to break above. So there we go. For you guys to sort of see that, right? That first blue line. So we know that that first blue line is going to be that weekly rest area of roughly those 1650s, 1660s. Going to our 1 hour time frame. What can we see on our 1 hour time frame? We can see even on our 1 hour time frame. See how we're sort of getting that ascending triangle also as well here. And attempting to break out. So if in the upcoming days or even upcoming weeks we get to break above that 1660s, we might end up seeing this push up higher into the 17s, right? So if you're looking to play this long, ideally what I would be looking for is, let's go ahead and see what the options they're looking for. Ideally, I'm looking for us to have at least 2 weeks out on an option, just because today is Wednesday, and if I haven't gotten in on Monday for a weekly call, I look for either next week or maybe even 2 weeks out on something that I might be looking at based off, right? So let's go ahead and go here. So December 24, right? That's 2 weeks out based off right now, 16 days, right? What can we see based here on the open entrance? Look at that 17. That 17 area, it's got a high volume of almost 13,252 open entrance. So what does that tell you? That tells you that there is a lot of people that are interested in buying that 17 call option strike, right? And why is there people most likely targeting that area? Because we can see here, even on my 1 hour time frame, I already have that drawn up. That green line is another area that I'm looking for SoFi to sort of go and test if we break above that weekly resistance of that 1660, guys. So this is why you want to chart out your stocks that you may be watching here, because if you're looking for a call, put whatever it might be, you know which area you're going to be targeting. You're not just buying blindly a call or a put strike and, you know, your expiration date, right? So with me having 2 weeks out to sort of target that 17 area, that gives me more than enough time to be able to average down if SoFi does have a healthy pullback, or even to sort of make my losses a little bit more less because I have more longer expiration, right? Overall, we can see nice little strong uptrend, and even on the 1 hour, trying to break out of this ascending triangle, right? Look at that right now. High of day on SoFi right now is 1633, and right now it does seem like it may be wanting to go give us another high of day. Look at that. So that's something that if you guys are looking to get long on SoFi, that 17 strike with 2 weeks out would be roughly a good idea for you guys on SoFi. Now we're gonna go ahead and review SPY. So SPY here, SPY price action based off this 5-minute time frame, just a little bit wonky for me because we're just having these nice moves up, down. So the price action isn't the best for SPY. You want to be able to nail down the price action on SPY. But right now we can see, look at this. That 10 a.m. once that news came out, what can we see? We got a nice little push up, but rejected right around that pre-market high, right? So this is why another thing is that I'm telling you guys that you want to mark off your pre-market high and pre-market low as well, because those levels will give you an indication on if we break above pre-market high. There's a possibility that the buyers are coming in on this and gonna continue to push this up higher. But what can we see here? We rejected right at pre-market high of 606.20s, and then boom, had a nice little rejection, pullback, boom, and boom, right? So now, like I'm saying, price action isn't the best right now on SPY. We are just staying in range of basically our pre-market area. So price action isn't the best. You don't want to be trading stuff like this. I mean, you can, but ideally you will be wanting to trade that price action more on a 1 minute time frame, right? Why do I say the 1 minute time frame? Because look at here. Here you see a couple bounces here off that 200 EMA. So that's telling you, okay, I might be able to scalp this on a couple calls, some zero expiration calls, right? So if I would have gotten on some bounces here around the 605.60s all the way up here to 606 where we rejected, that's a good little 5, maybe 10% compound capital, right? For those 1 minute traders. Now, once we would have seen that we rejected that pre-market high, that would have been an area where I would have been like, okay, let me go ahead and take this off the board, because now we are rejecting that pre-market high. Like I said, once we got that rejection of pre-market high, boom, just a nice little sell-off on that 1 minute time frame, right? So now SPY, just price action isn't really the best here for as of right now. So for me personally, I'm more of a breakout trader, so I'm always looking for something to give me a pattern or price action that's gonna break out to the point where I can capitalize on that breakout and take my money and go. You can see here, price action not really the best here. Just staying in between this 200 EMA, staying between our EMAs. Let's see what the 3 minute time frame is doing. Another thing is that I like to do is I like to look at our 3 minute time frame, because that's going to give me a little bit more of a better idea of between what's happening between the 1 minute and the 5 minute. And based off this 3 minute time frame, what I'm seeing here, we're attempting to sort of see if SPY is going to break out, right? You can see there, right? It's a nice little downtrend. And it's something that we are trying to break out of, right? But until then, price action for me is just a little bit wonky, because another thing that we are seeing is boom, boom, sort of having stair stepping way here, right? You can see that, boom, 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 boom. So it can work both ways, guys. So this is why it's important for you to sort of have patience in the market and wait for the right setup. Do not anticipate a move that you might be seeing, because that move might not be there. Even though it might look like it, you want to wait for confirmation, guys. You want to have conviction behind your trades. So, right? So price action for me personally isn't really the best here on SPY. As we can see here down below, the volume isn't really as much there, and the reason behind this might be because this morning we had that gap up, right? So we had the numbers, that job or the payroll number that came out, that may have given us a little push up here, and some people may have just taking profits on that number, right? So who knows? Some people yesterday may have gotten in on maybe some 605 or even some 604 calls, and once they got that gap up here and the push up here, they may have been taking profits at market open. Therefore, we're seeing not that great of price action here on SPY as of today. So right now, for overall for today, what I'm looking for is, or to continue throughout the day, is to see, are we going to break above that 606.20s or even break below these 605s, back below these 605s. So with that being said, guys, that's going to conclude our day for today. I hope you guys were able to sort of understand the market here a little bit more, price action, learning patterns, and sort of be able to help you out in a way with your trading, guys. So with that being said, happy trading, happy Wednesday. You guys have a blessed, wonderful Wednesday, guys. Thank you guys for joining here. And this will be posted on the YouTube video if you guys haven't seen it for today or wasn't able to attend for today. Thank you guys again.